Kia ora and welcome to Papsda at your place. My name is Karen, this is William, and we're really excited to worship with you again today. Now, William, before we go any further, it's just important to check. Do you know that it's Mother's Day weekend, William?
You are? Yes, I did know. I did know.
Yes, I did know is the correct answer.
Yes,
That's
I
right.
did know.
Now, I think it's really important that we just educate everyone a little bit about Mother's Day, because I think a lot of people think that Mother's Day is a day, and I understand why you think that, because it's Mother's Day.
Yes.
But Mother's Day is more than a day.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's really, really good for all the men to know that. Really good to know that it's at least a weekend.
Oh, okay. At least a weekend.
At least a weekend.
Yes.
I actually like to think it goes for a week. I like to think of Mother's Day week.
Yes.
That would be okay
That would be
with
okay.
me. I'm sure it's okay with a lot of mums. Am I right, mums? Yeah, I could hear them. I could actually hear them
too, yes.
through the screen. So, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's
Mother's
Weekend.
Day, yes.
Happy Mother's Week to all of you.
Hey, no, we do want to wish all of our mothers a very, very, very special happy Mother's Day this weekend. Our mums, our dads that are mums, shout out to my dad, and any of you that are caregivers over young people or families, just a huge shout out to you guys. We just want you to know that we love you and we appreciate everything that you do for our families. So God bless you this weekend. I hope that your families show you how much that they appreciate you this weekend.
Absolutely.
Karen,
William,
is it Weet-Bix time?
Hey, it's Weet-Bix time, everybody.
Let's go.
And you know what? It's our last day of the Weet-Bix challenge, because you know it's only so long.
I'm sure so many people wanted to participate in the challenge.
They probably did, William, but there's only so long that you can watch people eat Weet-Bix.
True,
you know.
true.
And so today's the last day. Last week, Ed and Christine had a bit of a go.
Shout out to you guys, man.
Good job, guys, but
Great
didn't
job.
quite tip Will off his throne. He is still the reigning champion with 2 1/4 Weet-Bix. But this week we've got 2 guys.
2 challenges.
You know that could potentially knock you off your perch. We've got Stephen Higgins and we've got Darian Covenden. And let's just see if in this last week someone can kick you off your throne. Let's do it, hey?
Let's do it. Let's see it.
Hey guys, I've been nominated to do the Weet-Bix challenge. I've got my Weet-Bix and got more over here if I need it. So let's start this challenge. So I got through 1 and a nibble.
Hi guys, just doing the Weet-Bix challenge. Thanks Edward Davidson. Yeah, I'll see how many of these I can have in 1 minute. So I managed to have just over 1.5 of these. Definitely harder than it looks, and I think I might just stick to milk in the future.
Whoa, guys, good effort, good effort.
So good.
But you couldn't beat me, because I am the champion. Let's go.
I'm not sure how cool it is to be the reigning champion of this, William. I just have to say, what does this tell us about you?
Hey, it tells you that I am a champion. I am a winner.
You are a
I
Weebix
am a
winner.
winner.
Yeah, you are.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
And
Let's
look,
go.
I think it's really important that we give you a bit of a prize, you know, because
I
you
think
are the
so
reigning
too. I think so too. What's my prize?
And look, I think it's only fitting that your prize should be.
Oh, let's
Some
go.
Weebix.
Weebix.
This time, William, I'd love you to have it with milk. It's just
No, I
that
quite like it.
little
I
bit more
quite like it
palatable.
authentic and
Do
raw.
you?
Yeah,
Do
there's
you?
just something natural about
Yeah,
it.
well, look, happy for you to do that. I'd like to see you eat that whole box, authentic and raw. But that's what we're about.
Yay!
Awesome.
Thank you.
Good job, William. Good job, William. Right now, we are going to take a break to have a look at your photos. We're going to see what you've been up to this week, and we are going to celebrate your birthdays with you. Let's take a look.
You give me that joy. You give me that joy like a river. You give me that mercy I never deserve. You give me that love, nothing better. You give me that sweet peace like never before. There's nobody like God, like God. I'm talking about my God, my God. There's nobody like God, like God. I'm talking about my God, my God. Oh, you give me that joy. You give me that joy like a river. You give me that mercy I never deserve. You give me that love, nothing better. You give me that sweet peace like never before. There's nobody like. There's nobody.
Awesome. Hey, we've loved seeing your faces, and a massive happy birthday to
Yeah,
all of
happy
you
birthday.
who had birthdays this week. And it's been great seeing your photos and your faces. So
Yes.
thanks for sending those through to us. Next week, Karen,
Yes.
we are starting a new challenge.
A new challenge.
And
The
this
Weebix is
challenge
out.
is-
Something else is in. What's in?
Everyone can participate in it.
Ooh,
That's what I love about it.
I like
It's
that.
inclusive, which is what
Yes.
Papsda is all about.
Yeah.
It is called the Declutter and Donate Challenge.
Ooh,
And Karen,
I like
It's
that.
all about decluttering. You could
Yeah.
declutter your garage, you could declutter your kitchen, your
Yes.
wardrobe.
Yes, I need to
And
do
really,
that.
it's just a challenge for us to declutter in order to give. And I think that's awesome
Yes.
because there are a lot of people in this time who are in need.
Oh, I
And so-
love that. It's like, it takes our mind-blowing generosity
Yes,
value.
yes.
It
Yes.
takes our inclusive community because
Exactly.
everyone can
Yep,
do this.
Yep.
Oh, I love it.
And so we'd
Yes.
love for you to do that. Send us photos while you're doing the challenge.
Yeah.
And please send your messages to Andrew. Send your stuff through to Andrew.
Yeah.
He will collect all of that and make sure that they go to the people who really need it.
Awesome, great challenge. Can't wait to see your photos. Can't wait to see how you are going to choose to declutter and donate this week. That's awesome. Now, also remember, tomorrow, right in your home on TV1
Let's
at
go.
2 o'clock
2 o'clock.
is our very own 360 Adventure All-Stars.
Let's go.
They are going to feature tomorrow.
So keen.
It is just them, the whole episode. How good is that? So make sure that you tune in and watch them. Make sure that you send them messages, that you encourage them, that you are supporting them. They did us super proud, and we are really excited to join them on TV1 tomorrow as they, I guess, show the nation a little bit about what 360 is all about. And to all of you who gave, to all of you who supported them with your mind-blowing generosity, we just want to thank you again. 360 just do an amazing thing with so many young people. They pour into the lives of so many, and what you have given enables them to do that so much more. And so I love that this is what we're all about
love it.
today.
I
You know,
love it.
we're about decluttering and donating. We're about
Giving.
the giving to mentor our young people. So that's awesome. Make sure tomorrow, TV1,
Yes.
2
2
o'clock.
p.m.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Right.
Karen, we've got a lot of new things today.
Ooh,
another
another
new
new thing.
is
Tell me.
a Zoom chat that we're hosting
Ooh, yes.
straight after our service.
Yeah.
As you know, every week we have questions that we kind of wrap up our service with, but we're wanting to be a bit more intentional, Karen, about
Yeah.
hosting a space for all of you to engage in some awesome discussions around those questions. So on the screen right now, we've got a list of names and emails of all the people who will be hosting a Zoom chat. And so if you would like to participate, you can email any one of these people. They will be happy to hear from you, and they will send you a Zoom link.
They are going to email you a Zoom invitation if you have emailed them. So look at the names.
Look at the names.
You know, which Zoom chat would you like to join? Send that email. They will send you that invitation.
Easy peasy.
30-minute discussion straight after our service.
Awesome.
Our 10:45 service.
Yep.
Awesome.
Love it.
That. Thanks, guys. Thanks to all these leaders for opening up your homes and chatting to all of us about our worship service questions. That is awesome. Now we have got all our favourite things on today as well. We've got our awesome worship team bringing the music. We have got Fee and her awesome children doing epic time. So get ready for that. We've got Your Place, Your Story. Now today we've got that with Andrew.
Yes.
And he's going to be sharing a very special story with us for that. So look out for that. And we've got something very special for our mums, of course, because it's Mother's Day week. As I like to say.
Week. Month.
Yes. That month. Well, you like the way you think. Yes. What else have we got today, Will?
Wow, Karen. This week we have Stephen and Leanne.
Awesome.
They are partnering up this week, as well as a few of our own Papsda people to share a message today. And they are going to be speaking to us and challenging us on the importance of taking time to rethink. And so we are looking forward to being challenged and encouraged to do that today.
What a great opportunity to do that now.
Very, very awesome.
So good.
So without further ado, guys, we are going to move on to our next part of our program. But as we do that, we love our video that just kind of reminds us, Karen, of what our mission and our values are. So let's do that right now.
We love it.
and welcome to Epic Time. Just... Okay, 3, 2, go. Hi everyone and welcome to Epic Time. Yeah, like that. Okay. Hi everyone and welcome to Epic Time.
Wait a minute. That's not Fee.
My name is Emily, Fee's daughter. And my name is Chusua, Fee's son. As you know, our mom usually does the greeting, but with it being Mother's Day this weekend, we thought it would be nice to help her do Epic Time today. Fee will join us. She's just... What are you guys doing for Mother's Day this weekend? Now, speaking of mothers, today we're going to be taking a look at wisdom. Speaking of mothers, today we're going to be taking a look at wisdom. Because today we'll be discovering what it means to be wise, why is it important to be wise, and how you can be wise. And here to pray for us is our friends Jade and Eva.
Then we're going to be celebrating birthdays. Ooh, yes. Last week our mom said that Talatu was turning 9, but he actually turned 10.
Sorry about that.
Okay, so let's pray with Jade and Eva.
Then we'll celebrate a couple of birthdays.
Dear God, thank you for this lovely day, and thank you for the beautiful sun you have given us. Thank you for the beautiful food, water, family, and friends you have given me. May no one get hurt, and may everyone be safe. Amen. Dear Jesus, please bless us on this lovely day. Thank you for loving us. Please make sure the coronavirus goes away. We love you, Lord. Amen. Stay strong and stay kind and love one another.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Make a wish, make a wish, make a wish, make a wish, make a wish. Happy birthday to you.
Hi everyone, I'm back. I was able to enjoy that little sleep in. I hope that you've got something special for your mum as well. And if she can't sleep in, don't worry. You can run to her as soon as you wake up in the morning and give her a big hug. Thank you so much to Jade and Eva for that beautiful prayer, our friends from Tauranga. And happy birthday once again to Taleta, turning 10, and Epinisa and Kalisi. Now, as Emily and Chasua mentioned, today is about wisdom. Very good. See, life is precious, and God wants us to live our very best. And wisdom is very important for that. We can make good decisions, wise decisions. Now, I have even more helpers here to show us what our bottom line and memory verse is for today. Let's take a look together.
Our bottom line for today is, God gave us the gift of life. To live our best, we must be wise. Let's say that together. God gave us the gift of life. To live our best, we must be wise.
Good morning, Papsda. My name is Georgia, and I'll be saying the memory verse for today. It's from the book of Proverbs 3, verse 13. Blessed is the one who finds wisdom. Blessed is the one who gains understanding. Thank you, Papsda.
The Bible is full of incredible stories that Jesus told to teach us important life lessons. Jesus was wise. Oh, Jesus was a very wise. In fact, Jesus is the example of wisdom. And we can get wisdom by following just how Jesus lived his life and by learning from the lessons that he taught us. Now watch and listen carefully and look for the lessons in today's awesome Bible story. Let's learn together.
This is Jesus.
Heyo!
Who is the Son of God and the Savior of the world. While Jesus was on earth, he taught everyone about God's love and healed people from their sickness. He did many miracles like walking on water.
Oh, hey guys.
And even raised people from the dead.
Wahoo!
One day, as he saw the crowds gathering, Jesus went up to the mountainside and sat down. His disciples gathered around him, and he began to teach them. He asked them, "Why do you keep calling me Lord, Lord, when you don't do what I say?" Anyone who listens to my teaching and follows it is wise.
Hey, I'm gonna build here. I'm gonna build out there. All right, suit yourself.
Like a person who builds a house on solid rock.
Oh, yeah.
When the floodwaters rise and break against that house, it stands firm because it was well built.
I'll get it here.
But anyone who hears my teaching and doesn't obey it is foolish.
All right. Hey, it's nice.
Like a person who builds a house on sand.
Uh-oh.
When the rains and floods come and the winds beat against that house, it will collapse with a mighty crash. When Jesus had finished saying these things, the crowds were amazed at his teaching.
What an awesome story. That is one of my favorite Bible stories. Now I have more friends to show us what wisdom looks like for kids. Let's take a look.
Hey kids, who is the wisest person you know? Maybe it's your grandpa, or your librarian, or maybe your mom.
Those people are probably pretty wise. But did you know that wisdom isn't just for old people?
Nope, anyone can be wise. And Proverbs can teach us why it's important to be a wise kid.
Wisdom is knowing what's right and doing it. Some people know a lot of things, but that doesn't mean that they're wise.
You could know anything in the whole entire world and still be unwise. Wise people use their knowledge to do the right thing.
And that's the first part of being a wise kid.
Wisdom is worth more than anything money can buy. A lot of people think buying stuff is the most important thing in life, but that is just not true. It's more important to be wise than it is to be rich.
Wisdom is way more valuable than fancy clothes, fancy jewelry, or fancy cars. That's because wisdom helps you to be a good person and honor God.
Money can't do that for you.
Being a wise kid will pay off when you get older. If you learn to be wise now, then you'll be wise later. Memory verse.
The wise inherit honor, but fools are put to shame.
Do you know what inherit means? It means you'll get something someday.
Like if your super rich uncle dies, you might inherit his super fancy sports car. Or if your grandma dies, you might inherit some of her creepy weird dolls. Wise kids will inherit something way better than a fast sports car or weird creepy dolls.
They will inherit honor, which means someday other people will look up to them. They'll think, wow, I want to be wise just like them someday.
So kids, if you want to be wise like your grandpa, or your librarian, or your mom, think of this lesson from the book of Proverbs. Wisdom is important, so start practicing now.
I hope that you've been able to learn what wisdom is, why it is important, and how we can get wisdom. Remember, be wise. And thank you so much to everyone who was able to send me their photos of what them and their families have been up to. Make sure that you send me yours. I would love to see what your family has been doing. You can either email me or message the Facebook Papsda Epic account. Now this weekend is very special. This weekend we celebrate Mother's Day. And here I'm going to show you a little clip which is just a snippet, a little tribute to our mothers and everything that they do for us. So grab your mums, quick, get them watching, and I'll see you again after this.
Hey babe, how was your day?
So yeah, it was just a normal day.
How was your day?
Well, my mommy snuggled with me when I was scared. I love my baby sister so much. We laughed so hard that our bellies hurted. And Mommy gave us lots of kisses. We were for a fun ride. But the best part of the day. Me and Mommy had a food party. It was the best day ever.
What a beautiful reflection of a mother's love. Happy Mother's Day once again to all of you mothers out there. Thank you so much for everything that you sacrifice, for everything that you choose to do, for everything that you are. We appreciate you and may you feel especially loved this weekend. We think of those around us in our community as diverse as our worlds are, of those whose homes don't have their mothers for whatever reason, the mothers that are playing both roles of a parent, the mothers who are going through a difficult time in their life, perhaps a medical reason. We think of those families, and if you know of anyone in that situation, perhaps you can send them a message of love today, an encouragement, something to uplift them, just to remind them that they are not alone. May we all feel appreciated. Everyone deserves to, but especially our mothers for Mother's Day this weekend.
And that wraps up our Epic Time episode today.
And here to pray for us is another friend of ours.
Let's pray together.
Hi, my name is Genesis and I'll be doing the closing prayer for today. And also I will let us in a big happy Sabbath shout out to you all. Okay, let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father who art in heaven, I just want to thank you for giving us this happy Sabbath once again. And also I wanted to thank you for helping us with our struggles and lowering the COVID-19 cases. And I also want to give my last thanks for watching over us and looking after us. Amen. Have a great Sabbath everyone.
Thank you so much for joining us from your place. I will see you again.
Same time,
same place.
About next week. Bye for now, everyone.
Bye.
This is my story. This is my song.
Church family, today I'd love to share with you two stories of two people who are homeless. And these homeless people have been coming to our church, not to the gathering that we are today, but we have every Thursday night before the lockdown, we used to have community dining, and these homeless people needed our help in those days. But you know, through COVID-19, they actually need more of our help today. And as we uphold Isaiah 58, that we need to feed the hungry, clothe the poor, put shelter on them that are homeless. And I feel that this is the time that we as a church can be more active in this way and uphold Isaiah 58. And also there is a person here today that from our church that actually chose to live out Isaiah 58 and came and did something that really changed somebody's life. And I pray that we too in our church, that we can start living out Isaiah 58. Hey church family, here we are with Brother Wayne, who used to come to our dining, our Thursday night dining, and he's homeless, but I just want to ask him a few questions. So Wayne, what brought you to this point of being homeless?
I had a dispute with the family, had a trespass order put on me, kicked out of the family home, so I had nowhere to go. Bunked up with Ma in her vehicle for a month so I can save to get my own vehicle. And by doing it, I got my own vehicle now. And coming up here is really a blessing. Yeah, you just got to harden up and bunk up. And just communication with other guys. And you got to be positive. It's not for the faint-hearted out here. A lot of them live. And there are people coming in and out all the time, so I just got to make sure they're fed. As I walk up and down the rows to see if they're hungry. And if I get quite coming in from the locals, I share it out with them. And they appreciate it. But we got to earn their trust. There's a lot of people out here that we don't know, and yeah.
Awesome, Wayne. So, Wayne, through your struggle, what are your needs at this time?
Well, I just got to be strong and always give thanks to the Lord. And God the Father and His Son Jesus Christ. And always got to say my prayer when it's dinner. I always say that. But yeah, and that's it really for me. But one day I'll get me a place.
Awesome. So Wayne, I hear that you've been the to-go man that has been feeding some of the guys here through our people that are bringing food in. What kind of food have you been dishing out?
Every night they bring in a tray of pasta or lasagna, and I go from one end of the beach right up to the other, and they take a line. And then I come back, and what's left over, I might have some, but usually I don't. I see there's somebody always out there that needs it before me. And then we get other people doing drop-offs, the locals, they'll drop something off. And then I go to the guys, do you fellas want any? Come and have some. And then I've been lining up the table with boxes of food, and I go and knock on their door or on their car thing, and I tell them to come down to come and help themselves. It saves me walking up because it does get tiring. But charities like Love Kitchen, Love Soup, they've come over and dropped us off a lot of kai. And what we don't have, we give back to them so they can share out to other people that are out there. And there are a lot of people out here. They're hidden. They don't want to know where they are, but we know they're there because we're here through the grapevine. And they appreciate just a little bit of food. And it's really the love that comes with it. Once you show that little bit of a love and their kindness to them, they open up. And I think, yeah, that's it for me.
So Wayne, you know that last Wednesday we gave you some food, and you were on your way to look for some a place like a motel to go and stay at. How did you go with that?
We found it very stressful. From Wednesday morning, the phone calls went out to certain places in town, and it kept coming back, technical fault on the phones. And 6 o'clock we were at Papsda, and then we get a text saying that lockdown's coming and we've got to go. So I just told Ma, we've got to wing it and just go. So we just packed up and just left. And Chrissy tried for us. It took about a week and a half before she actually got a response. And we put a couple of guys in the motels, but I wouldn't go because I already set myself up over here, and I felt comfortable over here because I didn't know what it was like. Are you going to enter their bubble and get sick? And I thought I was safer out here where we had our distance and we had our own little bubble.
So Wayne, from to our Papsda family, what would you like to say to our Papsda family listening to you right now?
God bless and may Jesus be with you, because He does love us all. Nobody else does, He does.
All right, church family, we're here with our sister Ma. She also has been coming to our Thursday night dining. But just a question, Ma, how'd you become homeless? What got you here?
I'm not your average homeless person to start with. I don't have an addiction. I don't have mental health. And the reason I got stuck in this situation is because I have 2 health conditions given to me by the government who aren't keeping their end of the bargain that they made with me, and the end result is they didn't pay my compensation, so I can't buy a house. And I've spent the last 7 years on and off being homeless while I'm A18 on the Housing New Zealand list, and they refused to build me a house even though they gave me the health conditions. So I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place is the easiest way to put it, or in this case, a tree and a tent, because I can't get anywhere. I've been trying to find a lawyer. I've been through 3,642 people who are lawyers and stuff who said they deal in family law, they deal in criminal law, or they're all under retainer of the Crown. The last 12 have said they won't give her legal aid. So in the meantime, there's not much I can do. I get my benefit, but it's usual shitty benefit which everybody else gets, but it's not always enough to cover for what I need because of both my health conditions. I need to pay certs away from everywhere because of my allergies, and the lovely people at Papsda know about my allergies, and they've seen me have allergy attacks, so they know what I'm talking about. And the other thing I need is to be semi-flat and white enough because I have good days and bad days, and on good days I look like a normal person and I walk around like I'm wet like I am at the moment. On bad days, when I've got it, I have a power wheelchair that I'm supposed to use. And because the wind's not paying my money, I end up having to put my power wheelchair into a loan, which is my third power wheelchair, and then the shop went before I could pay it back.
So, Ma, you've now got a tent from donated from a brother from Papsda, Apu.
Thank you.
Just a question: what other needs that you might be in need of?
Well, one of the things I need right now is winter clothes because all the clothes that I have for the winters that have been donated to me and I've kept and used went into storage when they moved me into storage in November. The storage people that Wynn's paid for, that Wynn's had them move, will not let me access the storage. So the clothes that I'm wearing at the moment, I've got pants that was given to me by Julie, I've got the top that was given to me by RJ, I've got another top underneath that was given to me by Julie, and a pair of $5 black shorts that I bought from Moco. Because that's all I've got, is this and a couple of other outfits that people have been able to scrounge up for me. Because all my winter gear is locked down and I can't afford to go and buy it. The lockdown means I can't go to op shops, I can't get hold of different other people to get hold of clothes, and so I'm scrambling to find warm clothes, especially in weather like today. Because in case you haven't noticed, I'm dripping wet.
Next question, Ma. I know that there's certain food that you can eat and you can't eat. So how are you coping with that?
With the way the allergies are, normally what we do basically is because when we haven't got the lockdown, there are set takeaways that I can go to, I can eat the food from, and I don't have allergy attacks. So when I've got a little bit of money, I buy it. Otherwise, basically, I fish out the rubbish bin to eat because most of my money goes into my gas tank to try and find me a home because winds are not paying me the way they're supposed to. And in between that, I juggle what I can to get what I need because I need special vitamins, minerals for the way my health is because I'm a polio victim. Not to be confused with bipolar, which people keep doing. Bipolar is a mental illness. Mine is a physical illness. It's polio meningitis that I had, and it's damaged all the muscles in my body is the easiest way to explain it, so they don't work properly. So that's that. It comes with a set of allergies. I'm also immune disorder, and the immune disorder has its set of allergies, and it was caused by 2,5-T poisoning. And occasionally they marry and make new ones, so I have all these bizarre allergies, which frighten the hell out of the doctors and the hospitals when I end up in them. But once they get used to me, they just say, oh, it's okay, it's Ma. And that's the same with the guys at Papsda, with my dinner. Once they explain to them what's what and where's where, they go, oh yeah, no, it's Ma, that's Ma's,
Yeah.
because
Awesome.
they know my allergies.
Cool. Ma, I know you've been involved with our Papsda church for a while now. What would you like to say to our Papsda family?
Thank you so much for all the things you've aided us to do stuff. You were with the one-night stays for the last couple of years where we've been freezing our butts off and we've got the mattresses to sleep on in a warm space. Those are wonderful, especially when you've got weather like today. The meals with Lynn and Denver, the work that they do is so wonderful. And because of my allergies, they know I've got them, and they actually, if they're doing a meal that doesn't or has things that I'm allergic to, they'll do something special just aside for me, which is so wonderful because a lot of places don't allow for my allergies. They treat me like I'm an idiot or I'm mental, whereas Papsda does not, which is why I love it so much. And I love the camaraderie. When we go there, we can laugh, we can joke, we can talk, we can ask questions, we can do different things, and on the whole, we make different friends from it. And it's just been really, really wonderful going there backwards and forth, which is why I've been going for the last 2 years. There are other kitchens I've been to that basically have not been so nice and not been so good, or the food makes you sick.
Hey, Apu, man, thank you for the tent that you've put up for Mart today. Thank you so much.
Hey, look, don't worry about it. No worries. The tent has been in our shed for the last probably 10 to 12 years. The last camp at Two Bridge where we all flooded out was the last time we used it. It's been sitting there. Thank you for reaching out. It's not doing anything there, so yeah, I'm pleased that the family decided that someone could make good use of it. But yeah, don't need to thank us. It's doing a lot of good with Ma in our shed.
Thank you, Apu. Man, you're a hero today to Ma and Wayne. Church family, look, you might have something at home, a warm blanket, maybe a warm jacket. It might be nothing to you, but it'll be everything to the people that I need. So family, look, if you want to help out in those ways, we're here to reflect the love of God, and as we walk in His Spirit. And if His Spirit is telling you to give, in whichever way you want to give to these homeless people, please contact me on 021 20 72 021. God bless everyone.
Good morning, Papsda. Good to be with you again. I hope that you've enjoyed your week 6 in lockdown. Stephen, how has lockdown been for you?
Well, I've been learning about trust, and going into lockdown I probably needed a haircut. By the 3rd or the 4th week I was starting to feel unrecognisable. So Leanne went online and found some scissors and clippers, and then she started watching YouTube videos about how to cut hair. Now during that time I was starting to think, oh my, I'm going to lose one or both of my ears. But as you can see, I've still got them both.
So we have celebrated our 33rd wedding anniversary in lockdown, and we've also survived our first haircut together.
This morning we're continuing with our topic, Today I Choose, and our focus is on rethinking our priorities, which we've had plenty of time to do over the past few weeks. 12 days ago, on Tuesday last week, our country finally began to relax what has been called this lockdown of the country that we've all experienced over the past 6 weeks. On Monday, we expect this will change further as the lockdown is gradually lifted and life starts to return to normal. For some, our healthcare workers and those in what was deemed essential services, perhaps life continued on as normal throughout this whole time, and we are hugely grateful to those who continued serving during this unusual time. For others, work has started slowly, maybe just on last Tuesday or Wednesday. But for most of us, we're coming to the end of this time that has been significantly different from what we have experienced before. And I would guess that even for essential workers, there is no doubt that the country has been vastly different to normal. But what is normal? And do we want to race back to normal without first stopping to think about what we have learned through this collective experience? Have we taken some time to stop and think about what has happened, about the fragility of life, about what is truly important in life, about how our priorities in life may have changed, and what we would like our new normal to look like?
On the 27th of April, which was Monday of last week, the New Zealand Herald collated and published the reflections of 84 New Zealanders from right across the country on what level 4 lockdown has been like for all of us, what different people have discovered and learnt during this kind of surreal time. Today we've asked a selection of people from across our Papsda community that very same question. What has this time been like for you? What are your reflections on lockdown, and what have you discovered about yourself? We're going to begin with Josh, Albie, Britt, Zara, Matt, Maluka and Keely.
What's changed heaps is definitely work life and schooling. Having to Zoom your meetings and meet with all your teachers or your colleagues online, and having to sort of adjust to that way of communicating. It's kind of like interesting sort of new normal.
Well, obviously, my contact with other people is reduced, My family and I are always going out, so us just staying home is just really new for us.
For me, it's been quite different because I haven't been able to go into my dance studio or go to school, which is a big change because, those are like things I do in my daily life. And I also haven't been able to see my friends face to face, so it's kind of sad, but yeah.
Like, I really appreciate not having to drive to work.
Like, you kind of take it as that's life. You jump in the traffic, you head to the office, you're there all day, and then you head back in traffic and head back home. But this thing where you kind of just fall out of bed and hey, you just clean up, have breakfast, kiss your kids, have a chat with the wife, and then you get into work. That's pretty cool.
Probably like a lot of people trying to work from home and also be teachers, and the joys and frustrations that comes when you're trying to tell your kids to be quiet while you're on a phone call and hoping that you've got your phone on mute, and balancing that up with getting the homework done and all those sort of family blessings, what might we say?
Some of the basic things we thought were basic that we used to do, like meeting friends, going out to see family, those we couldn't do, and we had to rely on the screen. So seeing family and seeing friends over the screen. So that was quite different, but you can see a positive in it as we appreciate now what technology can do for us.
Since level 4, uni's kind of moved online. So pretty much every single lecture we have to wake up around 8 o'clock or 9 just to get to those. And then all of the assignments and stuff are there. And then otherwise just living at home and having to interact with my family.
The other thing that has happened, that you get a lot more time for family, and there's been some little things that happen, like our youngest, Emma, she's learnt to ride her bike, and there's nothing flash about that. But it was just because Dad now has time to go out and spend time with the kids. And so she's learnt to ride her bike. I've spent so much time on the trampoline over the last while that that has been great also.
Thank you guys for sharing what it's been like for you. It has undoubtedly meant a significant change in life for all of us, hasn't it? And things really have looked quite different. In the New Zealand Herald article that we referred to, it started off like this. We've been scared, tired and stressed, but we've also loved the silence, the time with our kids and our partners, and the opportunity to slow down. We've collected mushrooms, had day spas at home, and we've written diaries. Everyone's had a story to tell. Last week we asked our readers and our listeners what they've learnt about themselves and their world from this time in lockdown. Many thousands of words poured in, and these edited responses reflect an extraordinary time in New Zealand history. What does it look like when a whānau of 5 million people come together? Here are some of our reflections on life in lockdown.
The first responses are just short comments, like a 36-year-old called Kristen who said, "I hate cooking much more than being stuck in peak hour traffic." And then there was Brian who said, "Homeschooling is frightening. I'm never attempting school again." And then there was a much longer paragraph from Teresa Gattan, who was previously CEO of Telecom New Zealand and is currently working on the food delivery business called My Food Bag. She said, "Imagine if 20% of the meetings that used to be face-to-face were done by Zoom or WebEx. What a difference to traffic pressure points in Auckland, Wellington or Tauranga." But now let's hear some more reflections from our Papsda family.
So for me, it was our bubbles were split into 3, with Warwick being in the healthcare profession. I have asthma, and so Doug and I went up north, and Josh ended up in another bubble, and Warwick was home alone. So that was a very tough 4 or 5 weeks, 5 weeks for me.
Yeah, I think for me it'll probably be probably just the allocation of time. We've got like a bit more time on our hands, so just using that a bit more wisely, and cleaning things that probably didn't even know needed to be clean. So yeah, just connecting with people through different things like Zoom and Facebook, regardless on whether you're busy or not. So that's been pretty cool.
I thought I would have so much time, seeing that I was just at home, but it's been so busy with the kids, trying to come up with activities, trying to cook and clean the house. So I thought I would have so much time, but I actually didn't have enough time.
So yeah, it's definitely different. I think there's a real sense of appreciation on stuff that you wouldn't have kind of noticed. People are more aware of that. That's what I've found is different for us.
There's been a lot more time for family, a lot more time to maybe reflect on what is important in life. I have to acknowledge that maybe the things that I was filling my life up with which was a lot of work, trying to grow a business, and you just fill up life with work. Probably not the highest priority that I should have in life.
Because we couldn't go to work, thinking, what will we do? Jack's a mate of mine. Jack and I decided we'd go flying from Ardmore to Taupo. So we went flying from Ardmore to Taupo, and due to bad weather, we couldn't land at Taupo, and then we decided, well, we better divert and go to Tauranga, where we landed. It was really good.
It was our 28th wedding anniversary as well during that time, and we ended up, for the first time in 28 years, not being together for our anniversary. So that was a real new experience and really tough.
Of course, we did this on Zoom and on a flight simulator. And with the flight simulator, they're exactly the same as the instruments in my plane and in Jack's plane, and it was very, very good. That evening, Jack told a friend, Duncan, and he said, can I join? So the next day, 3 of us went. Well, in a couple of days, 7 of us were going flying every day. So one of us had to be the air traffic controller. It was a fun time.
Thank you, Bridget DeRoe, Namate and Paul. Isn't it interesting that we've mostly reflected on similar things? They say the great minds think alike, or is it that this is a collective experience that's shaping us together? And that even as a great big human family, not just New Zealanders, we're all in this together. Of course, the importance of reflecting is that we actually do something about it. In Philippians 4:8, it says this: finally, brethren, whatever is true, whatever is honourable, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is of good repute, if there is any excellence, and if anything is worthy of praise, dwell on these things. To dwell literally means to take stock, to reflect on, to analyse, to reason, to reckon, to think on. And then it goes on to say this: the things that you have learned and received and heard and seen, practice these things, and the God of peace will be with you. So we've also asked the question, what changes are you going to make because of this experience of the last few weeks? What have you chosen to intentionally change? And what are you choosing to rethink in your life?
I think you're going to keep reflecting on the moments now. Like, just remember those moments where you do kind of realize, actually, I took that for granted. Appreciating small things. I appreciate my wife making some breakfast out of the blue. Hey, she opens the office door and I've got breakfast there. I'm going, oh, how cool is this?
It's a greater appreciation for things that we could easily do before pandemic life. So for me, it's now like going to the groceries, there's a bigger appreciation for just being able to walk through, get a trolley, and now I kind of try to take the time to talk to the checkout person and actually sort of engage on that level. And it's not until like those limitations get taken away from you, you realize how lucky we were.
Oh, well, I'm going to appreciate the time I spent with my family and friends a bit more than I normally do.
For me, I'm going to choose to live life differently by being more grateful about like the simple things in life, about being able to go to school and see my friends every day, because this has just kind of changed my perspective on things, and also to be able to dance in the studio and see my friends again in that situation as well.
So there are some choices that I would sort of be intentional about. So in the past, I just used to think, it's normal for me to do something. But I think going forward, I'll be intentional about even things that are considered little things, like going to church, spending time with friends, spending time with family. I think it's all about being intentional with those things and appreciating each moment that you spend with friends, family, and also just worshiping with fellow believers.
I have to believe that I need to put more time into family. Often the highest priorities in life are the things that are going to, or you assume are going to stick around. So bring them to the forefront and have them as a priority in my day-to-day life, rather than going, when I achieve this, when I have time, when I've done this, I will spend that time with my children. I will spend that time with my wife. I will even have that time for myself. That has been a big one for me. You can't get everything else right if you don't have time for yourself as well.
For me, it'll probably be the greater use of things that we already have at home. So, I think we've been doing a bit of workouts and stuff at home, and I was like, man, I don't have any weights, so I don't have this, don't have that. But it's like, man, who knew that a chair, could be used as a chair, also as like lifting it and doing little different exercises. And so, you just look around at the things we already have.
4 weeks in lockdown has given me lots of time to think and to reflect. The things that I'm thinking about are around, how did I get sucked into consumerism, fast fashion? Do I have enough clothes in my wardrobe for 2 seasons? Why do I need more than that? Do I need to indulge in the fast food and convenience foods? Why do I not choose to eat at home more and make homemade more and seasonal and living within what is locally produced?
One thing that really stands out is the number of us who've recognised the importance of family and friends and specifically said that that's going to be a top priority going forward. And I love that the way each one of the people who shared will do that differently. It won't all look the same, but it's still all about connecting. And that is what's truly important in life. And even if it takes a worldwide pandemic for us to realise that, then so be it. God utilises the things that we see as catastrophes as just another way of reminding us who we are in Him, and that it's our relationships with each other that are actually our top priority. So let's make sure that we don't just go back to normal without learning this lesson, and as the verse says, to put into practice the things that we've learned and heard and seen.
Some of the other Herald respondents said this: "It took all the skill in the world to maintain the extramarital affair." And that was by a person called Anon, I guess for rather obvious reasons. And then there was this: "Appreciate more, complain less. We are safe in our homes." What about people who don't have a home? Some don't have a fridge or a pantry to say, what can I eat? This thought should be with us all times, even if we aren't in lockdown. I think this thought has come through strongly that we need to appreciate much more than we normally do every small and big thing that we too often take for granted. And then there was a 30-year-old student who wrote, "I'm no Kiwi, just an Indian international student here at Waikato University, busy enjoying her international student life. But I too am proud to be the one among the 5 million who stood inside and saved lives." And I love what she said, but it saddened me that in the way that she wrote it, it sounded like she felt she didn't entirely belong. Just an Indian student. And I hope that she doesn't feel that way because of what we collectively may have conveyed. I'd like to think that we don't do things that make people feel inferior, but we rather embrace and we make all people feel welcome, of all different nationalities and ethnicities, that they truly do belong, that they're just as much a part of us as any of us are, that we're all part of the same big human family wherever we happen to live and contribute and serve and be. This is a significant reflection for me in a time of increased nationalism and comparisons about who is the best country in the world at locking down the coronavirus, that we don't also continue to have equal concern for our brothers and sisters, and I'm not using those words in the Christian sense, but all our brothers and sisters right around the world during this difficult time. Last week, Warwick spoke about when a vaccine becomes available. We need to be able to make it available right across the whole planet. And this is one of our big human challenges. So it's not only those of us in wealthy countries like New Zealand who get to be recipients of it. This, I think, is another truly important reflection. And thank you, Warwick, for highlighting that for us. Let's hear the final segment of how we're going to do life differently after this time.
I think I will intentionally visit my friends and not always take it for granted that they'll always be there. And also, I think I've developed an appreciation for nature, which I never had before. So I hope I will be able to take extra walks in the park, and just emphasizing that I don't need technology as much as I thought I did.
The other thing would be probably strengthening up the faith, recognizing that I don't have to make all the decisions, or why get stressed about something, rather put that decision up to God, and just looking back on those things I mentioned before that can only be blessings that I really had nothing to do with, really, did I? I just had to orchestrate whatever it was and acknowledge that there's a higher power here driving things than me, and to let go. Could I say let go? It's a hard thing to say. I don't have all the answers, but let me pray about that. Might be the answer.
And then, I appreciate having the chance to sit and listen to Ashton in his schooling. It's just trying to make the most of the opportunity for that to happen again. I think I'm going to make a real effort if the opportunity comes to, what, I'm going to turn up at 10 today, but I'm going to go to my son's assembly. I think I'm just going to choose to catch those moments, and drawing on those when the day isn't going too flash. That's kind of like what I'm thinking of doing.
From these past few weeks, I think I've got a lot more appreciation for what goes on around me, and then going back into like level 2, level 1, when we're able to move back into our bigger environments, I'm going to take that with me just to have a bit more appreciation of the people around me, like the work that my lecturers put in, the work that my boss is putting in, and just trying to implement that into my own life.
About a month ago, Caleb gave me the talk of, oh, Dad, you don't need to stay in my room as long now after I've said prayers, sort of thing. And just last week sort of thing, he said, oh no, it must have been this week, he said to me, oh, you can stay after you say prayers. Like, it's almost as if the time you spent with him over the last month has actually reversed that. I mean, that period will still come where he says, you know what, Dad, I'm grown up, go away, sort of thing. But for the moment, I've been able to pull it back a little bit.
And so thinking about our resources and my resources, how do I use my resources well? And resources for me is nourishing my mind, my body, and my spirit, so that I can give out of the overflow of that. And in thinking about that, I'm mindful that we're all in the same storm, but we're in different boats. And some of our boats are safer than others. And so how, whilst I'm nourishing and being using my resources well, can I then share my resources with somebody else whose boat is probably less safe?
So spending that time has been it's pretty obvious what time in a relationship can actually do to those sort of relationships. So no excuses. I can see it clear as day, and I just have to make it happen.
Having spent time with these guys, I'm now thinking that I'm going to be intentionally spending time with them and get into their lives. And these guys are all alpha males, really. And you could say they're grumpy old men, but they're actually good guys. And as you get to know them, they've got a wealth of knowledge to share. And men like to talk, and men like to be listened to. And we enjoy each other's company. And we intend to do that on a regular basis from now on.
I heard a great quote the other day, which was, never waste a good crisis. And we're in that right now. So I intend to to come out of this stronger than when I went in.
And that's truly what we want to make the most of today. We don't want to waste what's happened to us during this time. And as Matt said, this requires intentionality on our part to make choices and changes and to rethink our lives going forward. Paul spoke of the need to intentionally connect people of all different walks of life and age groups. And as he spoke of this, it reminded me of something called the Blue Zones. For many years now, Stephen and I have been following the Blue Zones, which began with a guy who decided to ride his bike around the planet just to get into the Guinness Book of Records. He subsequently wrote a book about the 5 places in the world where people live the longest, and not only live long, but live healthier and happier lives. And those 5 places together are called the Blue Zones. One is in Sardinia, in Italy. And interestingly enough, while northern Italy was ravaged by COVID-19, Sardinia has not been impacted in nearly the same way by this pandemic. Another of the Blue Zones is in Loma Linda in California. And recently, in the past few weeks, the Blue Zones organization, the whole research organization that sprang out of this initial discovery, was acquired by the Adventist Health Organization, which in the United States is a little bit like Sanitarium is here in New Zealand.
So last week, the Blue Zones published an article by Vivek Murthy, who was the former US Surgeon General, about exactly what we're talking about today. This choice to rethink our priorities and our need to put relationships first. The article says this: whatever our age, humans tend to meet one another by gathering, and we tend to gather around shared activities and interests like sports or the arts or a meal. Belonging to a group can help to reduce our stress, to repair emotional damage, and to promote meaning and purpose in life. And much of this therapeutic effect, it stems from the way that we interact when we gather together. We tell stories, we laugh, we sing and dance and play music. We move and walk and work together. We give and take, call and respond, and synchronize with one another. And this behaviour comes naturally in almost every culture on earth. Laughter is one of the most contagious, universal and instinctive connectors of all.
Because we had a lot of time on our hands, I thought I'd send out a joke at 8. So at 8 o'clock of every night, I'd send a joke to about 70 people to see if I could lighten their load. The way I'd choose jokes is I'd run a joke past Val, and if she thought it was amusing, it was good enough, and if she thought it was okay. So that's how it happened. Well, a number of folk ended up sending these jokes on, and I ended up with about 500 feedback saying how they really enjoyed it and they couldn't wait. And when I stopped, I've had about 10 people saying, can we just go for level 3 as well? Can you please just send us another joke every day for level 3? But I'm out of jokes.
So Paul, I think you sharing has certainly increased the health and well-being of everyone who you shared them with, and Leanne and I were certainly the happy recipients of those. It's the value of a laugh and the need to continue to be able to laugh, even in the most depressing or challenging times. In fact, I think it's more important then, and it's one of the ways that we can strongly connect with each other. The article says the endorphin effect from laughing and connecting together is one of many biological phenomena that explain why people all over the world have traditional folk songs and dances, and why most religions involve congregational singing or chanting as part of their regular services. Well, unfortunately, we've not been able to do this at Papsda in the same way that we would normally connect, but it doesn't mean that we can't find new ways of connecting.
So as we emerge from lockdown, may we reprioritise our lives around what really is important and what truly brings life. Today we've heard from lots of people, but for this to have any value, we need to hear from everyone. So as we finish this part of today, now comes the really important time, and we invite you and whoever you're with to spend some time reflecting and reprioritising. Not only just about this week, but rather today I choose to rethink and to reflect and to reprioritise my life as I move forward and out of this lockdown. What are you going to change? How will your thinking be different? How will you view the world differently? And what practical changes are you actually going to do moving forward? And I think we all know that it's no good just talking about it. We actually have to discipline, to train, to make a plan if we're going to change. And for that reason, I'm going to ask you to actually get up and to go and get a pen and paper and to write down, or you might actually prefer to do this on your device, but take 10 minutes to write down 2 things. In the first 5 minutes, write down your reflections on this lockdown time and what you've learned or discovered. And then in the next 5 minutes, write down how you'd like your life to be different moving forward. What changes are you going to make? So do the first 10 minutes on your own, and then in the next 20 minutes after that, before you have lunch and you get up and get distracted, or maybe you actually want to intentionally do this as a lunchtime activity, we want you to talk to the people that you're with and discuss your reflections and your rethink of life. Talk to the people who you're with about how you're going to do this, what changes you might want to make together, and what you need to do to remember and to be accountable. And if you're not with anyone right now, you can join us or one of the other Zoom groups for a Zoom chat in about 10 minutes time from now. As Karen said, there's several groups, and you just need to send a blank email with the title Zoom chat to the host, and any host that you choose, and they will send you back an invite. As the Apostle Paul may have said if he was writing to us right here and right now, rather than his friends the Philippians, let's take stock about the things that we've learned and heard and seen during this time and put these things into practice, and the God of peace will be with you.
Let's pray. Thank you, Lord, that you are the God who invites us to rethink our priorities in life, to be able to start over and do things again and differently every day. And I just pray that as we've been through this time, that we will not waste it, that we will put it to good use, and that we will think about how we want to live our lives going forward. I pray that we will live our lives in the way that you have told us is the best way, that brings happiness and joy to ourselves and to other people. So may we think about this right now and choose to live life differently as we go forward from here. I pray in your name. Amen. Thanks for connecting into Papsda today, and our prayer is that the God of peace would be very much with you.
What a great service today, and what a great reminder, William, you know, to take this opportunity to rethink. I love that we got to see so many of you today join us for our service, and I love that we get the opportunity to rethink both individually and that we get to do that collectively as well.
And church family, please remember that we do have the full service available anytime over the next 24 hours. And so that'll be streaming over Facebook and YouTube.
And remember to stay in touch this week. You know, we say this every week because it's a really big deal. So make sure that you call someone, make sure that you are connecting with someone that you haven't perhaps yet in this lockdown period. Also make sure that you join one of our Zoom chats right now. Okay, so we're about to see the questions from today's service roll up on our screens. We're also going to have the names of each of those leaders again and their email addresses. So if something has sparked something in you today and you'd just like to chat more about it, join one of our Zoom chats, email one of those leaders right now, and they are going to start in about 5 minutes time.
Awesome. Well, that is it from us today at Papsda at Your Place. Thank you so much for connecting in with us. Until next time, stay safe, be kind, and take time to rethink.